fucking.
Is that what that squeaking is? All right. What to do, y'all? This your boy Pat coming at y'all live once again, man. Thank y'all for joining us for this kind of movie. Well, it's a Netflix review right here. What we tried to do like 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately, YouTube wants to be a little bitch.
It was nothing to do with me. It was all the anime titties.
Or so she said, because we blame it was either the anime titties or Tally not stop saying Oriental.
It was not me. It was the anime titties, and I'm gonna stand by that.
But we found out that's basically what it was. It was like one angry game was like an article that we tried to share on the stream because it was full of a bunch of anime titties, and plus with YouTube's algorithm right now, the way that they're acting, where they'll kind of they'll yeet people's stream even though if it's not violating any policies and things like that, because they don't have the people to guard a whole lot of things. But anyway, like I said, I'm your boy Pat, and we're coming at y'all once again, and joined with me is Kefki.
Hello.
I think she'll be back in a moment, but it's there she goes right there. And we got Pleiades.
He hope.
Yo, Ple, where you at? Oh, there you is. Oh no, are we on a delay?
You've got some delay because I'm hearing them long before you are, apparently.
Okay, so
that's what.
So long as I don't have to blame myself for my own problems, that is fantastic.
Okay, so that's what I think what it is. I think we're on a little delay, and of course we got Tally.
Hi.
Okay, so Tally's on the dot right there. It's there may be a delay between a lot of us. So are in the chat right now, what's going on? RVA Darn, we got Rico 8181, like I said in the chat. So, all right, how's everybody doing so far?
I actually finished watching Castlevania half an hour ago. It's all fresh in my head. I just watched it.
So we're gonna get into that a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna. Okay, so there he goes. And there's one more person I need to add if they ever come in. So oh crap. So I'm gonna kind of get out of that part right there. Hopefully that won't slow it down. Because I'm kind of wondering, if we do have a delay, for instance, okay, when I say your name right there, I'm just okay, Kefki.
Yes.
Okay, so she's on time right there. Okay, Pleiades.
He hope.
Okay, so all right, I think we're on good time right there. I thought we was on a little delay because when I said something, then y'all just popped up in 5 seconds later. So, but I think we on the dot right now. Okay, so we're gonna get into this thing right here. We're gonna be reviewing the Netflix series of Castlevania, and so before we get into it, of course, to give y'all a little thing about the the whole Castlevania thing, the game wise, because that's what they're basically basing this off right here. They're basing this series off of Castlevania 3. So if you never played Castlevania, a lot of people are really probably wonder what's going on. Of course, it's about Dracula and the Belmonts. But how it got up to the point with the Netflix series right here, where it's before Dracula became Vlad Tepes, he was known as Matthias, and him and Leon were Leon Belmont.
Vlad Tepes was his birth name.
No,
that was the birth name of the person that was known as Dracula.
Well, we're going about the Castlevania version right here,
historically versus Konami.
Yeah, historically.
Yeah, but he was actually a person that lived. He was actually the Prince of Romania.
We know, Tally. But like I said, we're going by the Castlevania version. Like I said, yeah, the real because he was called Vlad the Impaler.
He was called that because he impaled 20,000 of his own people as a way to scare the Ottoman Empire away from invading.
And you'll see a lot, of that in the series of
it worked because in their mind it was, wait, he's doing this to his own people. What the fuck is he gonna do to us? No, we ain't invading that shit.
And then he eventually got associated with being a vampire from the Count. For counting all 20,000 impaled people and going,
Mm-hmm. All right, but moving off of history and back onto Castlevania, like the Castlevania version is like him and Leon Belmont, the original Belmont that got everything started. Were actually like all buddies, and they So one time, like when coming like from like a exhibition, he comes home and he finds his first wife by the name of Elizabetha that she had died from like from sickness. So of course, when she dies and all that right there, he's stricken by grief to the fact that he really doesn't want to do anything. So Leon kind of like gives him a little kick in the ass, but unfortunately, like as time went by, he had hooked up with this other girl by the name of Sarah. And in the Castlevania series, it started out with the whole game that started out that Sarah got kidnapped by a vampire by the name of Walter, and he asked Leon for the assistant. So of course Leon, he goes and and he tries to like retrieve with Sarah, which he does, and he also enlists the assistant from this guy by the name of Redondo. I think that's what the name is, Redondo. I can't say off the top of my head. So Redondo, like I'm saying, in order to like feed Walter, he does something. He gives him that's where he gives the famous whip that the Belmonts like to use, and
the magic fire whip.
Yeah, it's like
the chain whip.
It was like a regular whip that was infused with like holy essence at first, but they said in order to like get rid of the vampire Walter, they had to do like a certain thing. So Sarah, it finds out, when he does find Sarah, that she's actually bitten and she's on the verge of becoming a vampire. So she basically used like herself as a sacrifice, and so her soul infuses with the whip, and that's how the Morning Star is born. So basically, they use the Morning Star. Leon used the Morning Star to whoop Walter the vampire, only to find out that Matthias had set this thing up all along. Because ever since his wife died, he blamed he blamed God for how can thou forsake me and all that right there. So that's how his like evilness basically started right there. He's mad because his wife died and shit like that. So he's blaming everybody in the world. So he causes all this nonsense right here, and he basically that's when he becomes he renames himself, rebrands himself Vlad Tepes, and all the Dracula nonsense right there. And that's where him and Leon, developed the grudge of becoming enemies, because now, Leon is determined to bring Dracula down by any means necessary. And he's making a promise, like I'm saying, if it's me or it's my kin, we're going to hunt you down to the very end. So that's how the Belmonts, get their thing down of becoming professional
monster hunters.
Yeah, monster hunters. And they get so popular because at first the church is hires them to do all this monster hunter and things like that, so that they get so popular to the fact that people start relying on the Belmonts more than they do the church. Of course, the church, being the way that they were back then, can't have that. Nope. So what do? They demonize the Belmonts, and of course, the people listen to the church and all that right there. So the Belmonts are excommunicated and shunned out of history and all that right there. Which brings us up to this series. So now it's like 1455. We're in Wallachia. Well, how do you say that name right there? Which, judging by this whole entire thing, is that would be what, in Romania?
Romania.
Yeah. So it's like 1455. So the Netflix series starts off as Lisa.
It's the area surrounding Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Lisa, so she hears there are special things in Dracula's castle that can help her become a better doctor. So she takes the brave notion of visiting the castle and all that right there. So her and Dracula meet, and of course Dracula is he's at first he's basically trying to intimidate her, but he's taken by her because she's the only person that's basically coming to the castle and is not basically afraid to speak or talk to him in a certain way. So it's he's taken by that. So of course he gives her access to all the scientific things that that she's not used to, to basically make her a better doctor. And of course, as time goes by, I think a good 30 years, they hook up. they hook up, they get married, and they have a son, Alucard. And also, this is the time where she convinces Dracula to give humanity a chance, go out there, see the world, see what you've been missing.
People aren't that bad.
Yes. All right, Pleiades, Kefi, y'all got anything to say at this point?
That's a pretty good summary. I think it was at the Curse of Darkness part with the whole sorry, yeah, because this is not just number 3. They take into Curse of Darkness and put some of the demon forgers in from there.
Yeah, I think
and then there was the preceding game to that one. I forget what it's called, which is where the Leon story comes in, right?
I think the Leon story is like the Curse of Darkness, and then it let's see, it goes from Curse of Darkness to something else. I don't think it's the Lord of the Shadow. Like they don't.
No,
they don't
that one was later.
Yeah. So it's I think it's Curse of Darkness, and then it's a lot of historic thing. Then it jumps to Castlevania 3.
Yes, minus Grant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bitter.
Yeah. So we're at that point right there where she's convinced Dracula to go out there, see the world and meet a whole lot of people and things like that. And while that's happening, Lisa is developing the reputation as a great doctor. So it's and while that's happening, the church is basically like the medicine woman that they usually go to and all that right there. According to this isn't in the series, but if you read about the whole Castlevania history, she gets jealous and she tells the church about Lisa and what's going on. So they showed us in season 2. Now I'm getting kind of ahead. But the church, they found out about Lisa's what's going on and things like that. So they visit her, and of course they see
her being a witch.
Yeah,
because they see all this scientific stuff that they don't understand, and because they're too stupid to understand it, all of these scientific instruments, they see it all and they go witch.
And of course, with the church having the power and the corruption that they have on their side right there, it's either for them to point fingers and accuse her of being a witch. And she's not given a fair trial. She's basically not given anything. She's saying it's right then and there, she's she's burned at the stake. But also, but during that time that she's being burned right there, she's screaming out, basically calling out to Dracula, don't hurt them. They don't know what they're doing. And of course, Dracula doesn't know anything that's happening right now until he comes back. He comes back to the house and it's burning, and he sees a old lady standing there, and he's wondering what the hell's going on.
Paying respect.
So the lady brings him up to date about him. Yeah, she's paying respect. And she basically tell. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, the lady's there paying respects, and she tells him what's happened to his wife, and he goes, "Oh, well, fuck all y'all." And he tells her to get her family and to leave because he is going to burn this place to the ground.
And it was
what? I'm sorry for he's got something to the extent of, "I will come back in 1 year," and the show sort of picks up almost 1 year later, and the Pope comes out or whatever his status is. And he's like, "It hasn't been a year yet, but we're going to prematurely celebrate because we're idiots."
Oh, no. They say this a year to the day. But of course, being a vampire, he comes out later that night instead of during the day like they were expecting, because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. And the reason why he gave them a year to to find peace, because and all that right there, because that's how much time it was going to take for him to summon that army of demons and darkness, which at point
the Alucard, night creatures.
Yeah, which Alucard tried to convince him not to do it, I'm saying, don't take it out on the whole entire humanity, and right there, take it out on the person who killed Lisa. But of course, Drac ain't having that, so he strikes Alucard down. Very easily. There's not really a fight. And like I said, a year passed, they prematurely celebrate. Then all of a sudden, who comes back? Old Drac. Come on, I gave y'all 1 year, and look how y'all treated. So sorry for y'all. So basically, all these demons
Sucks
they
to
come
you be
down.
you was basically the entire thing. I gave you a year, you didn't listen. Sucks to be you now.
So all these demons come down and they didn't care, man. If you were human, they just went through the whole entire town. Because they started with the town that killed his wife, that burned her at the stake. And I mean, they just tore through everybody. They tore to like the archbishop person, the women, the children, the guys. It's like they just completely just wiped them out. And they were going through like from town to town. So now we go to this all right, we get to like this one part where it's like this one town. I can't remember the name of it. Man, that's when Trevor is like introduced. He's at a pub, getting his drink on, while the other people are basically like complaining, talking about, Dracula's forces are coming here and there. And of course, they're blaming everybody in the world. And so when they bring up the Belmonts, Trevor's like, oh shit. Like, so he's just like, so he goes to the bar, tries to get like another drink. And so then they notice like his crest. And they're like,
It's just
I know
family
you.
crest.
Yeah, it's family crest. Like, I know you. You one of those motherfucking Belmonts. So they get into a goddamn fight, which luckily, Trevor barely, makes it through there because they were kicking his ass at first, but he was also whooping them too. Oh God. So he leaves.
He definitely held his own, didn't he?
Yeah, like I said. So he leaves there and he sleeps in the forest, but then the next day he goes to the town of what was it? Gresham?
It was where he found the Seekers.
Mm-hmm.
Or Speakers.
Yeah, to the town. Yeah, to the town of Gresham.
People.
Yeah. So he went basically there. Well, like they're all having their troubles right there. Like and that's where like one of the main churches are built. And the reason how he found the Speakers was because the church was bullying one of them, like the leader of them. So at first he wasn't going to do nothing, but his conscience got the best of him. So he helps. So he helps the man by, whooping the evil ass priest. And so they invite him to the house. They invite him to the place where they're at, like the Speakers. And that's where they found out the reason why they're there. And of course, Trevor's like, yeah, you may want to leave because it's not going to take too long before the church, convinces the town that you're evil people, and that's the reason why all this is happening. Because the church is always looking for somebody to scapegoat, to blame, to not take responsibility for themselves. Because they're so corrupt and they're so hell bent on keeping the power over a whole lot of people. Whereas that's what tripped me out in this whole entire first season is because the church was the main one that was a real enemy of the whole entire thing. It's like they're the ones who got all this bullshit started.
To be fair, that's accurate to history.
Mm.
The first season with how the church is corrupt and will do anything to hold on to power, and they just scapegoat people, burn people as witches, even though they're completely innocent. That's actually accurate to history.
Yeah, when you look at a lot. We look at a lot of things. Go ahead, please.
It also extends beyond church. You're right, absolutely 100%. And I would say that any body of power, power is addictive. Like I love it, and so I never want to give it up. And so, I mean, next to an orphanage is a show of power. Any of those orphans speak up about me for putting them in there, and I'm just going to burn the entire thing down. Basically, any institution of power will do anything to maintain that power. It's similar with communists. It's similar with kingdoms. It isn't exclusive to any religious body, but it is definitely a part of any powerful religious body.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I'm saying, that was one of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's this whole old saying of absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it's accurate.
Yes, and I'm not entirely. I sort of half agree with that because I more believe what happens in let's say you are the purest person on the planet and you create the most pure, most righteous, most awesomest religion. And everybody respects your religion based on its virtues, based on everything that's good that comes out of it. What I think
the next person that supersedes you when you die might not be so malevolent.
Exactly. In fact, benevolent, because you're awesome. Remember?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
But
I speak English.
don't bother. It's a waste of time.
Right.
But anyway, people who crave power, people who crave positive attention, they will be drawn to any institution in which they perceive that they can get it. So you can have things that, like, you will see, like, a small, very loud, annoying group of militant vegans who think that they are these morally supreme paragons, just screaming down from you meat eaters are awful, blah blah blah, because that's where they perceive that they get their virtue from, and that's what they aim to protect. Just as one example.
I've seen a lot. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those, and like
if we were all vegans, a couple of things. Pat wouldn't be getting the protein he's got. He needs to have those muscles, and I wouldn't have forgot the protein I needed to grow these. which a lot of them basically, like, they get that, like, I think they get their protein to, like, what, multivitamins and things like that, and those things are expensive.
There actually are a small group of, I guess maybe vegetarian is a better term, that are actually quite prolific bodybuilders, and they have a very heavy legume and nut diet.
But that's not vegetarians. They are vegetarians. They will still eat eggs that contain a lot of protein.
Yeah.
They will drink milk, which contains calcium and protein, and they will eat other things that come from animal products, but that's not meat. Yeah, but that contain a lot of protein.
I was just going to say legumes and nuts as a big part of that. They also don't go and punch you in the face every time you try and buy a slab of bacon. So
this is also true.
Those are the militant ones. But, like, getting back on the review, because
sorry,
we'll get sidetracked from time to time, like, audience. So, bear with us.
That is my fault.
Okay. Kev, you got any input at this point?
How dare you have a fun conversation?
Sorry.
Isn't she just the sweetest thing?
So it's like we're all going right here, and Kevin.
You got to be careful.
I know, man. She's just so wonderful. It's like, like, I told Kevin, like, feel free to interject herself at any time, because we will keep going. Like,
the thing about Kevki is she's just the sweetest little thing. She is just the sweetest little weasel, and she will tear your throat out given half the chance. And she won't even disagree with me.
No.
Is it Kefki the Impaler?
No, it's Kefki the Weasel.
All right. So what were we at? Oh yeah, the speakers. So, like, Trevor, he meets the speakers, and he's trying to convince them to leave, because, it won't be too long before the church, makes them out into, like,
before they become the scapegoat.
Yeah, before they become the scapegoat bad people. But they refuse to leave. Like, one of the reasons is because they feel like they can actually help the town, and things right there. And another reason is because they heard like a legend of a sleeping warrior, and so they sent.
The reason the speakers won't leave is because they are genuinely good people, and genuinely good people will not give up their mission to not help people because of threat of violence. That's why a lot of these women in the Middle East, they will risk flogging and imprisonment to protest by removing the hair veil, so that other women don't have to go through that. They are happy to put themselves in that situation, so future generations and other women don't have to.
Oh yeah,
a lot of respect for those women.
And that's like half of the reason, like, why the speakers are there, because they want to help despite the dangers that they'll face. Plus, like the other half, like I was saying, like they heard this legend of like a sleeping warrior that was in the town that they're in, and they sent one of their people. Yeah, they sent one of their people down in the catacombs to go get him, but they ain't heard from him in a while. So Trevor was like, okay, if I go retrieve this person right here, will y'all leave? And he gave him like, well, maybe. Like there, he didn't give him a yeah, he didn't give him a yay, he didn't give him a nay. So Trevor goes down to the catacombs where he sees like a lot of things, and then he runs up on this stone statue that looks like one of the speakers. So he's like kind of wondering like what the hell happened here. Then all of a sudden he's
Cyclops.
he's confronted by this Cyclops that has a gaze that turns everybody into stone. So he spends like a little time fighting it until he finally brings it down. By killing it, it reverses the spell, and that's how the speaker comes back alive, which he finds out is a girl. That's Cypher.
And this is where we meet Cypher. I love her character. I really do. Man.
Yeah, well, Cypher's a really tripped out character, especially from this point on out. Like y'all thoughts, Keffi, please.
I like her. She's smart.
Well, she's still training as a magician, which is why she was the Cyclops was able to get the better of her. She hadn't quite finished training. She was still quite new at using magic, and she needed to do more growing as a in fighting and all that sort of thing. I like that.
One of my mates and I actually watched it together and made terrible jokes. And one of the things that we noticed with Cypher was that the type of spells that she uses expands over time. Like when you get to the end, she's using different kinds of magic.
Well, it started off with just fire magic, and then she started using ice magic, and then she started using
water,
air magic. Yeah. And over time, she starts using other,
Which I thought it was fantastic because they had this progression in her ability, and they didn't even say it. So it was this wonderful thing that you had to be paying attention to sort of notice happening.
Yeah. So like the first half of the first season, she was only using fire spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it was in the game. She only... Yeah, and like in the Castlevania 3 games, that's all she had. She had the fire and she had like the the ice spells right there. Excuse me, right there. So yeah, he brings her back, and of course, he tries convince the speakers to leave again, but they won't. They still feel like they can do something. All right, so I think I think this is afterwards, when he can't convince him, so he leaves, and that's when he's confronted by the priest again, and they take him to the chapel where they meet the corrupt bishop. The bishop
and this is where he finds out that they are actually going to blame the speakers.
Because the same corrupt bishop is the one that condemned Dracula's wife and had her burned at the stake. So of course, like how Tally said, they're gonna try to convince the village that the speakers are the reason why the demons are attacking and things like that, and try to get them.
Well, they actually tried to get him on board with blaming the speakers.
And of course, Trevor ain't, he ain't down with this because, the same church is trying to get him on board is the same church that had them excommunicated. His whole entire family, when all they were doing was just they were monster slaying to try to keep people safe. But because, they were gaining a little fame and a little attention more than the church was, things like that. That's what they did to them. So, he ain't down with it. So the bishop basically says, all right, then, well, I'm going to give you the chance to get out of town because we're going to kill them regardless. So he goes back to the speakers to try to, and warns them what's going to happen and try to get them to leave. But of course, they're not going to do it.
Well, to be fair, he did get them to leave the area where they were. They didn't necessarily leave the town, but they did leave that building.
But before they did that, they were kind of able to give Trevor a kick in the ass of if they if we leave right now, then what happens? Then the church is going to keep on doing the corrupt stuff that they're doing right now, and they're
going to do what they did to your family. They're going to do what they're trying to do to us, and they're going to keep doing it to other people.
So long as they don't.
And he's like, you know what? I'm not okay with that. These
so long as they don't have to
down.
take responsibility. And that was the biggest thing, so long as they can convince other people that, that they were doing good and other people were bad and they didn't have to take responsibility for anything that happened, they were going to continue to do that. And so Trevor said, enough's enough. So he was able to hide the speakers away. So when the priests in the town attacked, they were dealing with him. And of course, he whoops some ass.
He does get his ass kicked as well, but he gives as good as he gets.
And then and of course, night falls and here come the demons. But what tripped me out, and I actually, I hate to say that I actually love this part, but it really needed to happen. But the first place that they attacked was the church. Like, they like
was.
the top demon came in, and of course, like, the corrupt bishop is in there. So when they show up, he's sitting out here, like, this is a house of God. You're not supposed to come in here. And they basically tell him, like, man, God abandoned this house a long time ago, man, because your lies, your power, your corruption. Like, they said, actually, we need to thank you because you're the reason why we're here. And like, he tried to convince somebody that she was a witch. Now, good damn well you lying. It's like, that's the reason why God has abandoned you. That's the reason why we here. And that's why I'm finna kill your ass. And that's what happened.
I was so happy
so
when
with that
he
part,
died.
That's why I said that's why I say I kind of hate, I love this part, but it's like, yeah, that's what happens, when when you're a corrupt person. And your karma comes and bites you in the ass. And well, in this case, hell, it bit half his damn face off.
Yep.
So of course
it couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
So while Trevor now is like like basically doing his thing, he gets surrounded by the people and they're about to do him in, but here comes Cypher with that magic, barely saves them, but before they do anything else, he points to like the last priest that's trying to get like that's trying to rally up all the people. So he finally basically like breaks it down, like you're the reason that all this is going right here because of your lies, your deceit, and your treachery. And the village just fucks this guy up. I mean, that was a gruesome ass scene right there. I mean, one comes and stabs him, and then next thing you know, one coming from behind, and that pitchfork. I'm like, God. They did not hesitate. I mean, boy, they added a lot of gore into this anime right here, man. That's one of the reasons why I liked it. I don't know. I just love that gory ass shit, and they're not too scared to show that stuff now, especially in these day and age. All right, anybody got any input? Okay,
I've given quite enough input.
Getting stabbed hurts.
Yeah, like I said, especially the way they were showing right there, because I mean, man, that guy got down.
They didn't just stab him; they tore them apart.
So, all right, what's going on, Mitch the Ripper? He's up in the chat right now. Like,
hello, Skull.
So they go from like I'm saying now that the church is the corrupt people have gotten there, like they're upcoming and things like that. Now they got to focus on the demons that have invaded the town. So Trevor, he gets everything together and he starts leading the people like into like all this strategy right here, and they managed to repel the demons with everything that they did, including a couple of the priests, who are actually good. Like I'm saying, in that whole corrupt thing right there, they actually had a couple of them that was like on actually on the side of God. So excuse me right here. God, I hate when I do that. So when that happens, we lost Kefki. Maybe she'll come back.
I have consumed her.
All right. That's it. So I'll be on the lookout for her. We love you, Kefki. So like, okay, what was that? So when that was happening right there, when they finally defeated the demons, somehow the ground under them starts crumbling, and Cypher and Trevor, they kind of go down into the bottoms right there, into like a part of the catacombs that they'd never ever seen, and that's when they they run up on Alucard, but they didn't know he was Alucard at first.
They thought it was actually Dracula.
Yeah, because of the way everything was built, like it was kind of like how it was in the stories that they heard about Dracula's castle.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Dracula's castle.
Mm-hmm. So but Cypher, she's convinced that we finally found a sleeper warrior, and Trevor's like, oh hell no, this Dracula right here, because look at the whole sign. So basically Alucard is talking like in riddles. So finally, Trevor said enough. So he pulls out that goddamn whip and he is working the shit out of it on Alucard at first. But then
Skull's asking a question. He wants to know what happened to the old lady who told Dracula about his wife.
Her fate
Dracula
wasn't
told her to take her family and run.
Yeah, her fate wasn't explicitly shown. Like, we don't know if she actually ran or...
He showed her mercy, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He told her, I am going to destroy this town because they burnt my wife as a witch, even though she was innocent. And because you showed kindness towards me and you are mourning for my wife, I am going to allow you to live. So leave. Whether or not he did what he said or not, we don't know, but that's what we know happened.
That is actually a good point, though.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
we're just assuming that,
a little bit of who Dracula is. Like a madman, like a truly malicious person would have just been like, old lady soup, and just ate her right then and there. An indication of the type of person that Dracula is that he has been, I guess, growing a little bit of sympathy and understanding for the plague that is humanity.
His wife showed him that humans are not that bad, and that they should be given a chance. And because this is someone that showed that she was a friend to his wife and she was grieving for the loss of his wife, he allowed her to, he gave her warning to leave.
So it was like he can tell, he could tell, from the good humans from the bad humans. Well, kinda, because some of those, I'm pretty sure some of those humans that he viciously slaughtered, were actually good humans as well. But he gave them a chance. He gave them a chance to escape, and they didn't take up on it. So it's like hey.
Yeah, if you're still here a year later and you die, it's your own fault.
So
it might just be me, but if a vampire shows up in the flames,
I know Jay talking about hashtag not all humans.
If it might just be me, but if a vampire showed up in the flame and the smoke of a woman that is being burned as a witch, and it's like, this is my wife, and I'm gonna come and kill you all in a year, that's where I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the old lady, she heeded that warning right there, especially with the way Dracula was was seeing himself hold on.
And all fiery. I would think it would be a little bit amazing if the
Pat's gotta go be a parent.
Responsibility, doesn't it suck?
It really does. Yeah, I heard. I think it's his daughter say, "Dad."
So if in the huge fiery thing of Dracula's face, he just shows up and says, "We'll give $50 to the first women with the most amazing rack who fly." I don't know, just something stupid like that.
Okay, all right, I'm back right there. That was that was like the mailman right there. So it's like okay, well, what did I miss?
See, now that was me thinking you had to go and be a responsible parent.
Well, I don't see any blood on his knuckles, so
yeah. They know me when I'm live streaming, I usually put a note outside my door, don't mess with me for another hour. Okay,
so I love you. Look, you're my kids, and I love you, but piss off for an hour.
Well, I don't say it like that, but okay. Damn. Okay, I done lost my train of thought. Like, where was that? Oh yeah, we was talking about the whole entire when they was asking questions about what happened to the old lady. But where was that? Oh yeah, the Alucard Trevor fight. So they're sitting right there and they're fighting and they're going at it, giving each other the old 1-2. Trevor gets the best sometime, and then Alucard gets the best. To finally they come at a standstill, where it's Alucard is ready for the fight, but Trevor has a dagger poised at Alucard's heart, ready to stab him. And he's I can rip out your throat at any time. He's like, I don't care, the whole purpose of this whole fight was to kill you, even if I die. So when he said that right there, that's when Alucard knew that he was the right people. So he finally so he lets up and he lets him know who he is, and that he also heard the stories. about but when he was awakened, he was going to be awakened by a scholar and a warrior. So that's how this threesome came to be, and because they knew that whole entire thing was to take down Dracula. Now, that's how the first season ended right there, and that's when everybody was like, "Oh, come on, man! Just those 4 episodes, you got to give us more." And we had to wait for another year. But the thing that really that really teased me off about the first episode and the rest of this series right here is that they got all the key players except for one.
Grant.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, how the hell y'all not going to include Grant now? Because Grant was, I'm saying, he was an important part in this whole entire thing too, and they still haven't showed him in this damn series. And I don't think they is. They got a lot of minor people up in here playing like major roles and things like that. And how the hell you're not going to have like one of the protagonists?
He might join in season 3. No,
No,
sorry.
I seriously doubt, but it's like, hey, people can dream.
Yeah, my thought is if he was going to show up, it probably would have been season 3. But who knows? If enough people complain, I'm sure we could, just like Twitter rush them, and then everybody gets fired, and then the show gets canceled. And wait, no, that's not good.
Yeah. Even if they add them in right now, it's like they're so far into like the Castlevania 3 thing, right? That it wouldn't make sense,
Yeah, and Grant was a corrupted, like as a human, he was turned into a monster that in the game. I think he beat the shit out of him, and he comes back and is like, "Thank you for punching me in the face. I'm gonna hang from the ceiling and drop knives on things."
Yeah, like, and he was part of the fight against Dracula right there, which they already had in season 2. That's what lit me up right there. I'm like, man, this is bullshit. You got Alucard, you got Cypher, you got Trevor. What the fuck is Grant? They never had him. So it's like, I'm saying. That's why I said, even if they added him right now, it'd be so far off that it wouldn't make no sense, especially like if you're somebody like me who's actually played the Castlevania series. But we get into like season 2, and of course, like at this point, Trevor Trevor got his crew, and Dracula's like bringing his crew together. His war council, which consists of a lot of vampires and things like that, plus two human people that we all know, Hector and Isaac. They're like they call them like what, demon forgers?
Forge masters.
Yeah.
Forge masters.
Yeah, forge masters.
They can take a dead body and pull a demon out of hell and put it into the recently dead body.
Mm-hmm. And so they're like a very important, like because he actually met them on his like exhibition of seeing the world that Lisa had like had sent them on it. So he met them like in certain ways and found out their story. See, Hector's story is like he was just like this this innocent person that found out how to do this magic right here, and he was basically practicing on animals, but he had some really crappy ass parents.
Well, he wasn't really practicing on animals so much as he was saving the lives of animals, and they thought he was demonic because of it.
Yeah, and in the terms of like really interesting character work is you see a lot of how Hector views the world, and that like what does he try to do? He tries to preserve his pets. He's not, I'll say, emotionally mature enough to let them go.
Mm-hmm. Whereas Isaac, like what they twisted Isaac character a whole lot and everything. Not just the race swap, which everybody really notices, because if you look at the whole entire Castlevania series, Isaac's Castlevania character in this Netflix series one is totally different, story and all. But the story basically goes like Isaac was basically like this one person that used to work for like a Templar until like the Templar was beating the shit out of him one day because he was like reading through like all this stuff, and he was telling the reason why is because because he loved him and he wanted to help him. But the guy never realized to finally like Isaac said, fuck that, and killed his ass.
Yeah, and then again with the character work thing is what's the motivating force behind Isaac is that I think he craves that fatherly attention, and that's what he eventually found in Dracula, which is why he had his endless devotion to him. From Isaac's perspective, Dracula was his sort of fake father, but he was the father figure that he would throw his own self over the coals to nobly sacrifice himself for. And that's sort of what is been his
there
driving
was
force.
generally a friendship between Isaac and Dracula, which is why Dracula threw him through a magic mirror to save his life, at the risk of himself dying at the end of season 2.
Yeah, it's like they had that friendship right there, plus the fact that, like, Isaac was willing to sacrifice himself, for that right there, that I think Dracula kind of, like when the crew had basically showed up, that that was going to be his ass, because he, in a way, he kind of like wanted to die, which during that whole entire second season,
he wanted to go the long way about suicide, basically. Because he thought humanity was evil and everyone in the world should die.
Yeah, and he wanted to take humanity out before he finally died, to go be with his wife and all that right there, which didn't sit with a lot of this council, mainly like Godwin and Carmilla, which she becomes like a huge a huge player in this whole entire thing.
Well, because she's of the mindset that we shouldn't be like wiping them out. Mm-hmm. We should be like basically using them as cattle to feed ourselves.
Like farming them, because that's what Godwin was basically saying. Like, okay, if you kill all the humans, then what the fuck are we gonna have to eat? Like, how are we gonna survive? And Dracula had said something like he had like containers of blood, like in like spares and stuff like that, so everybody would be all okay. But you know how that goes. He could be lying his ass off, but you're not gonna question him because he's the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and small thing, it's God brand.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, God brand. Like,
sorry.
It's all right.
To be that Frost Sprite, but yeah,
like I said, I'm saying I may make mistakes right here, so don't be afraid to correct me. So God brand. So that was his whole biggest thing right there. And Carmilla was kind of the same way. Plus, like Carmilla's basically story was like she basically saw Dracula as like basically like old and out of his damn mind and stuff like that, because it kind of reminded her of her last master, the one that turned her into a vampire, because he became old, mad to the fact where she had to kill him. So she kind of like sees that in Dracula. So before she even comes to the castle, she had already devised her own plan, and her plan was like
to take Dracula out and become the vampire queen.
Yes. In order to do that, she was trying to convince them to like take the castle to like to a place called Brayla. She never gave the reason.
She had an army waiting.
Yeah, but that was the reason right there. She had an army waiting to attack the castle. That way, they'll come in, they'll invade, they'll kill everybody, and boom, she becomes.
But she was trying to make it sound like it would have been tactically advantaged for them for this plan that they've got going.
Yeah, but she didn't. I'm saying she didn't do it by herself. The only reason why he even agreed to the plan is because she was able to convince Hector to like to convince him all right there. Hector talked to Isaac. They all went to Dracula, and they were able to convince him all that right there. So when the attack happened, Hector was seen as a traitor. So he couldn't go back to the castle even if he wanted to. By that time, Carmilla had already
Camilla
like
laid the plan out and dragged him out.
Yeah. Because she dragged him out because she wanted to use like the priest's body to like bless the waters and things like that, to kind of like destroy like Dracula's forces with the way that they had everything happening. So yeah, it made Hector look like he was a straight up traitor, and that's exactly what they saw, man. So yeah, she ends up so while that's all happening, so while her forces and Dracula forces are fighting and things like that. Meanwhile, we done missed all this part right here. Trevor, Alucard, and Cypher, they find the Belmont hold because they found
the vault that contained all of the stuff that the Belmonts had collected over the centuries, that were all like monster hunting relics and like a massive library of like monsters and spells and all of that sort of thing. And even magic mirrors.
Yeah.
one of the Easter eggs that was absolutely crazy that was found by somebody who has way less sex than me was that there is a cabinet with trophies of dead monsters. Now, the numbers beneath each trophy actually aligns to, I think it's the Castlevania Symphony of the Night bestiary. And in addition to that is the item in there, I think is the same item that ends up getting dropped when you slay that monster. And it's just like, I don't know how people notice this stuff.
They did, like I said, they got to have a lot of time on their hands because I didn't even pay no attention.
Well, you already said this is clearly someone that has less sex than you. Now, this is clearly someone that has less sex than me as well, and I haven't had sex in a very long time.
You need to come here to America. Then you got a lot of suitors. But okay, we're getting back. we're getting back onto the damn.
Yeah, so they're in the hold of the Belmont family.
Yes,
they spend a little bit of time, I guess, each focusing on the things that slightly signify their character arcs and whatnot, and then we all grow as people and become slightly better.
Well, of course they do, because they've got a shitload of like monster hunting relics and spell books and grimoires and everything around them. Of course they grow. They've got access to all of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like so they find out a whole lot of things right there, you know, and of course, you know, Alucard doesn't like the collection because, you know, his vampire side kicks in, like, you know, like, damn, these are my people, you know.
Skulls of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Skulls of vampires in one of the cabinets.
Yeah, but of course, you know, Trevor finds, you know, he finds the famous Morning Star, and Cypher finds this spell that basically, you know, you know, control the castle, so that way they have an easy way of, you know, finding the castle and keeping it at a certain point to where, you know, it won't move, because that's been one of the biggest problem with fighting Dracula, is that he's able to move his castle like just like that, because he has like a magic mirror. So anytime anytime anybody tries to lay siege to the castle, you know, it just zoop
gone.
Mm-hmm. So they, you know, they find like the spell, and they found like a mirror that's like the one that Dracula has. And with the spell, you know, she manages to, like, you know, pull the castle from Brayla up to where they were, which was basically on top of the Belmont stronghold. So that's when.
The reason the magic mirror is able to move the entire castle is because it's a mirror that you're supposed to be able to step through into like another place. Mm-hmm. The reason it's able to move the entire castle is because it's connected to a network of gears and all that sort of thing. That essentially the mirror works like an engine,
mm-hmm.
and it's actually all of the gears and all of this mechanical stuff that is connected to the mirror, which is why the entire castle moves.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, and they were able to do that to pull it from Brayla all the way to like the Belmont stronghold. So also during that time, you know, they're getting attacked by monsters. So as Cypher was trying to figure out that spell, you know, like Alucard and Trevor are playing like bodyguard with the monsters that come down there. So they quickly, you know, beat their ass, and then all of a sudden, you know, they go to the final battle to do battle like to Dracula and whoever else was remaining.
Oh, but
I done missed some
where the thing was, where the castle was, where Cypher was trying to bring it to them, but then Dracula was trying to take it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It broke all the gears, which is why it couldn't just up and leave again.
Yeah. I'm saying it's pretty much done for unless those gears get fixed. So who knows when that's ever going to happen. So that's what it basically does. So it's like it's on top of the Belmont stronghold. So, you know, so of course this trio joins the fight when where they come in, they basically like fighting like the remainder of Camilla's forces and the remainder of like the generals, which, you know, they go through, and that was a badass fight scene that I see. Did a whole entire thing, because you got Cypher doing her thing, you know, you got Trevor, you know, working the whip, and of course, you know, Alucard with the goddamn sword and shit. I enjoyed that whole entire scene, man. And like some of like Dracula's like generals, like especially like the one like the little Japanese like
Cho.
what do they call her? Yeah, Cho. Like I said, because she can turn to like that mist and all that right there, like and be trying to get the folks, but they took her out and like it was a whole good entire scene. So now
they took her out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that one of the things I think they missed an opportunity with is because we didn't know who Cho was until the third season, but we had these fairly interesting looking vampires who didn't really have speaking parts, and they were drawn to be unique, so it looked like they had backstory. And I think it would have been kind of interesting if they had the chance, go into a little bit more of who those vampires are, give them some unique abilities, because as we all know, Cho can turn into mist, and then the Indian one can sort of get split in two when bisected by ice. It just would have been I think, interesting.
So make what happened at the end of season 2, season 3 or 4, and then have these different vampires through season 3 have their own like backstories told.
I mean, I guess it was already done, so my fantasies are never going to happen. But like if say the show was
not unless someone does a spin-off.
Oh God, no. No, then they'll all be race swapped and gay and like various genders.
Oh God, man. I can just imagine what season 4.
They are never. You know what? They will never race swap a Japanese woman. They will never race swap the Native American in like vampire. They won't race swap the one that was from India.
That's true.
They only ever race swap white straight men or redheads.
I can think of a few cases where they've made others, but that's not really relevant. Just to wrap up the point quickly, I would have maybe if they extended season 2 by one episode and used that time to give a little bit of speaking lines to the other vampires, they would have more than just look unique. They would have felt like they were unique.
You know what? In season 4, we might actually meet some of the victims of the other vampires, and we might find out their backstory then, like we did with Chow in season 3.
Yeah. And that'd be great too. Like I'm happy with what they did with Cho. And it's just sort of like I forgot who she was by the time in between season 2 and 3 came out.
Yeah, but it's like after like Trevor Siphon like Alucard like get rid of them, of course Hector is like trying to protect Dracula, so they could basically go into like the last place where the mirror is, where Hector's like
Hector wasn't trying to protect
not Hector but
Isaac. Yeah, I was gonna say Hector had been dragged out of the castle by Camilla at Brayla.
Yeah.
Hector is out of the game at this point.
Yeah. Isaac, so it's like so Isaac is basically like putting his life on the line to protect Dracula, and that's what Dracula was like
throws him through a magic mirror into the desert.
Yeah, because that right there was just basically enough. Like, damn, like you putting your life on the line for me and things like that. And I'm sitting right here trying to destroy humanity. So at the last second, he tosses him through like the mirror into like a desert, basically saving his life. So I
think part of that is because Dracula knew that if anyone was going to be able to finish his life's work in wiping out humanity, it would be Isaac.
I think that's one of the theories that's out there. Like,
but also Isaac wants to bring Dracula back.
Yeah, which
we find out at the end of season 3 that it is actually possible.
Yeah, because they were all right, we get to that part right there, like because the cultists that we're going to talk about early on. But at this part,
cultists, crazy fucking cultists.
Ooh, man. But at this part right here that we're at, like so basically, Dracula, confronts like the 3, and like out of all of them, like Alucard is the only one that can hang with him, because Siphon and Trevor, they try to get their licks in, which they do get a couple, but it ain't phasing Dracula. Like especially like you see like Trevor like punching Dracula in the face, and he just like
do it again.
Like, oh, so you must be the bell button. I mean, Trevor just like throwing licks on him and shit like that, and he act like he ain't feeling it. So it basically becomes a fight between Dracula and Alucard, and they whooping each other all through the damn all through the damn castle, and it wasn't until
they end up in Alucard's nursery,
you know,
where there's a scorch mark on the carpet and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. So it's like Dracula basically, like, you know, he's overwhelmed with emotions. He let his guard down, and Alucard stakes him, and that's basically the end of Dracula right there.
Well,
so go ahead
again with the whole character arc thing, because I'm obsessively analytic. We see the type of actual person, not just vampire, that Dracula is.
Mm-hmm.
When he realizes in his child's nursery that he's about to kill his child who he loves. His child, who I think he locked him away. I don't remember if it. I think that's how that.
No, he didn't lock him away. But it's the fact that he sees his family's portrait, him, his wife, and this tiny little Alucard, and then he's like, "I'm about to kill my son."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's. I meant when locking him up in gray shit. I think Dracula did that, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think Alucard did that to himself.
I think Alucard did that. I think he locked himself in gray shit to heal himself.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad. I'm going to our summer home. But anyway, in terms of character development, Dracula realizes that in his sort of psychotic efforts to pursue his end, he would destroy everything that he cares about. And I think it's that realization why he lets his take him.
Oh, damn, what happened?
I needed my heater.
Oh, we just heard a huge crash. But I heard everything you said right there, Pleiades. So so that's what it is.
My heater got stuck, but I need it because I'm cold.
Yeah, so at that moment right there, you know, like Alucard stabs Dracula, and like that's like the end of him. So meanwhile, what everybody's basically doing, like, you know, like
he didn't
Isaac
stab him, he staked him.
Well, stab, what's the difference?
The one's with a blade, the other one's with a wooden stick.
I think I could stab somebody with like a wooden spoon.
I'm saying.
Well, no, you know the law when it comes to vampires. In order to kill a vampire, you need to stake it through the heart with a wooden stake.
And depending on the lore, it actually is a specific tree. In some
well,
cases.
the only stakes I know are all meat.
It's a white ash tree or something in most
I don't
lore.
remember the specific. Although, to Pat's point, I think it would be fantastic if he stabbed him with a cow.
It's a great white oak. Sorry, it's a great white oak in most lore.
Okay, thank you. I completely forgot what it was.
All right, so after that all happens right there, then you basically start like showing what all the characters they're basically setting up for season 3. So Carmilla has Hector, and they're going back to their place right there. Isaac is still like in the desert, like basically, you know, he's determined to like not only just bring Dracula back in some way that he can, but also to find Hector because he sees him as a traitor. Like this is reason all he got started. And with Cypher, Alucard, and Trevor, with their mission basically done right there, you know, they asked, you know, like what Alucard is going to do. So he's basically going to like stay there at the castle and like try to rebuild a lot of things. So Trevor entrusts like the Belmont hold into him, while him and Cypher, you know, go off and like become basically like try to rid the worst of the rest of like Europe or wherever they're at, the remaining monsters that are on the earth right there. So now we're going into season 3, where basically like I think it's been like a month or something like that.
About a month.
And yeah, so you know, Trevor and Cypher are basically doing their thing. They basically have become a couple. And Alucard is bored out of his goddamn mind.
That was one of my favorite lines in the entire thing. Him talking to the dolls. Talking for the dolls.
Oh, there goes Tal.
Then there was 2.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Are we getting murdered?
Okay,
like, am I next?
Probably. I'm saying one by one. I'm not doing it.
I mean, that wasn't like a race thing. I wasn't accusing you just because you're black. I was accusing you because I'm a horrible person.
I'm taking y'all out one by one, like, you know, kind of like how Faye used to do. We used to yeet eat the hell out of people. All right, so damn, what was that? So yeah, it's like so like Alucard is like bored out of his goddamn mind, and you know, like so whatever. What was the place that they went to where they had found like the cultists? I can't think of off the top of my head. That's fucked up because this is my review and I should know all this shit.
It was the most recent one too. You think I would have remembered it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, to Google. All right, porn. Maybe we can keep talking while I find the name of the place.
Okay, so why this basically happened? They went to this place right here, and like Isaac is is trying to find Hector, so he goes to this one place where he finds this one shop owner that actually gives him like a shard of like the same mirror that Dracula had kind of had. And he just would basically, asked him a question, and it basically like showed like Hector where he's at. While meanwhile, Hector's he's gone to like Carmilla has taken him back to his castle where she plans on trying to force him to become their demon forge master. Which of course, they enslave him. They just basically, treat him like shit. And this is what we're introduced with it isn't just Carmilla, but it's also the other three right there. I think it's Mordra, it's Striger, and there's Lenore. Now you're gonna hear a whole lot about Lenore in this goddamn point right there, because they basically they got their own roles, Carmilla is basically the queen bee, Mordra is like what they call the genius, Striga is like she's like the warrior, and Lenore is like basically the peacekeeper, the diplomat.
Yeah, so just on IMDb, it is Morana, which I believe was a death goddess. Maybe.
Oh, that's her name, Morana.
Yeah, again, me just being pedantic, nobody gives a shit. That was a very interesting dynamic, and one of the things I sort of wasn't a fan of in the third season is with both Carmilla and with Isaac, is they sort of appended stuff to their story which didn't seem to exist because it was never sort of mentioned or implied before with.
No.
Which I guess is fine. Like to have the stuff, you have to expand the world. But Carmilla never mentioned the fact that she had like one hot sister and two lesbionic sisters.
I had a power cut.
I was wondering, like, all of a sudden you just zip. Yeah, because when you look at the whole Castlevania time series, Carmilla, she has roles in like the whole entire thing, but they're basically minor. She's not like this big player how they're making her into the series. And the other three, I don't think even fucking exist.
I don't know. I actually don't. I've played enough of the Castlevania series,
but
to know
it's interesting
yeah, that's right. That was all I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, it's like in the series they are very interesting, and and they're also kind of leaving off of Hector's part right there, because I've never known Hector to be this much of a punk. In this Netflix series, he is a little bitch, man. But in the Castlevania series, he's anything but that.
Isn't he playable in Curse of Darkness?
Yeah,
I never got Curse of Darkness.
Yeah, I want to say it's let's see which one
because I was looking it up, and apparently in his story he actually hunts Isaac, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm, because basically Hector's story is kind of like that of Dracula and Lisa's right there. His wife is burned at the stake by Isaac, and that's how and that's how they end up basically fighting right there. Let's see. Hector basically, it was Castlevania Curse of Darkness. That's when both him and Isaac came to the whole entire thing. But anyway, so Carmilla has Hector in their clutches and all that right there, and they're basically treating him like shit. But and Lenore basically brings it on to him well, if you're trying to convince him to be on our side, things like that, the way you treat them right here is not going to do it. You're not going to force him to he'd rather die before he ever become your forge master. And they said they need him.
But not only that, is if they give him access to dead bodies so he can forge these demons, they are loyal to him.
Yeah.
So basically, they would just be giving him the means of creating his own army, so he can go, well, fuck all yo, and then wipe them all out.
Yeah, yep. Like I said, yeah, thanks for adding that part right there. Wow. So she basically puts her plan into motion of like convincing Hector to be on their side. Yeah, because of that part right there. So she basically goes down, she's all sweet to him. Well, at first,
well, she's a diplomat of the group, isn't she?
She's all sweet to him, and of course, Hector, mistakes her kindness for weakness, and she was quick to remind him, like, motherfucker, I'm still a vampire. I can beat your ass.
Yeah, she actually says to him, "Do not mistake my kindness for weakness. I will kill you."
Yeah. Because, I mean, she beat his motherfucking ass, especially she turned to them damn bats and went in there and just beat the ever-loving shit out of him. I'm like, dude, you should have known better than that. All right, so, so that's what's going on.
It's almost like he forgot he was dealing with a vampire. It's almost like he thought he was dealing with a human woman. It's like, oh, no, sweetie.
It was a very clever manipulation, and I don't think she expected him to attack, but she definitely presented herself as being at a disadvantage. Like that's how she has been, like, her initial interactions. Like, as you pointed out, she's the diplomat. She knows how to sort of manipulate people into coming to accords with what she wants.
Well, a diplomat doesn't necessarily have to manipulate people.
No one necessarily.
It's basically skill. It's a negotiation. No one comes away with everything that they want, but both parties go their own way happy.
Yeah, and in her case, that's what it basically is. Like, basically like trying to give him what he wants in order to get what they want in the end. But she's gonna have to play her cards very careful, which is what she was basically doing in this part. And meanwhile, Isaac is trying to make his way to where Hector is and running into his own entire thing. And while he's at it, he's collecting the army of dead his goddamn self and going into all these places. And of course,
he finds the mage in the tower with the army of slaves, mind-controlled slaves.
Yeah, this is after he met the sailor. And
I liked that captain. I liked him.
That captain was cool as hell.
Yeah.
So
Isaac and that captain, they debated the human condition essentially, because Isaac's like, no, humans are wicked. And then the captain's like, well, no, human ultimately, they're good and they're kind. If you wipe out humanity, yes, you wipe out all of the wicked aspects, but then you also wipe out the people like the old man that gave you that mirror in a box as a gift and made a joke. So there's none of that either.
And so, Isaac part is like I'm saying, whenever he he meets a good person out there, who may change his mind about humanity, then all of a sudden, he's met with these assholes right here that just basically throws his mind like, see, now you motherfuckers are the reasons that I hate humans.
I'm not entirely sure.
You're always assholes, so rude.
But the first guys he meets in the desert, the guys that basically call him meat or whatever. Yeah, those guys 100% assholes. But if somebody came into my small little village with a little armada of unholy creatures, some of which with
to be fair,
I would be fucking.
Wait, hold on.
To be fair, with one of them, he was saying, "Right, I am leaving. I'm just going to the docks. I'm going to get on a boat and I'm gone, and I'm going to leave your little town in peace."
But okay, but
and then on the next town, when he got off the boat on the other side. He was like, I think it was in Spain based on the accents and the uniforms that these guards were wearing. It was like, right, well, I just got off the boat. My boat's gone. I can't go back onto the ship. It's gone. I will walk through your town out the other side and you will never see me again.
But again, how much would you, we know Isaac and we know that he would keep his word. If you didn't know Isaac, if you didn't know this person who comes up with a small army of very scary looking monsters that, again, sharp teeth, some of them have weapons, you probably wouldn't want them walking around, say, little children or
no, not at all. No. However, the smart thing for these people would do after seeing these demonic things would be, all right, you can't go back that way. Okay. You want to literally just go through and out the other side. All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to escort you.
Yeah.
And if anything happens, we will then deal with you like hostiles.
Well, that would be the point.
I still think that's with the knowledge of the audience. Mm-hmm. I think that if I was in that situation, I probably would have stabbed first and asked questions after I got killed and turned into a demon.
Well, he was even like, well, I just want to walk through. I don't want to bother you. I just want to go. My boat's gone. I can't get back on the ship. So that's the only way I can go. It's like, all right, we're going to escort you. And if there's any trouble, then we will start stabbing.
That would be, that's
the smart way. Well, in saying that, no one ever accused the military of being smart.
Military intelligence, the world's best oxymoron.
But then it wouldn't be exciting, and that wouldn't add to the story right there. That'd be too much common sense. So
yeah.
All right.
Well, common sense is not all that common, is it?
Yeah. So meanwhile, on Trevor and Cypher's part right here, they go into the town right there where the town is having like a little problem of their own, especially with the little cultists, because they have they got like a little determination of trying to bring Dracula and them back themselves. Now, I had trouble really understanding this part right here, especially like when it came to like the judge and to like the leader of the the cultists and things like that. Because the judge, like said, his whole entire thing was like trying to take them down, but when you find out in the end, he was
he was okay with dealing with them when they were just a group of monks, and then when they shut the townsfolk out and went slightly crazy, he was still like, all right, you do you. And then the whole demon thing happened.
Yeah, so it seems like it's the sort of thing that by the time he realized there was a problem, the problem was not sufficient the problem was big enough that his military might wasn't enough to deal with it. So when they started off as basically, because they didn't start off as cultists as we would describe them, they started off as religious. And then the freaking night creature basically came in and was like, hey guys, I'm talking to your brains. Let's bring back Dracula. And they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. So they actually started isolating and their numbers started growing slowly. By the time that by the time that Sala realized that the problem had become the size that it was too late for open conflict.
Yeah.
Which is why he was resorting to conscripting Belmont and Cypher.
And then to find out in the end, like I said, he was pretty jacked up himself, especially when it came to the kids.
When children are running through his town because he didn't like children running around acting like little shits. He would send them into the forest to his apple tree and they would fall into a pit with spikes.
To a spike trap.
And then he would collect their shoes.
Yeah, you find that out in the end, like once they destroyed the demon and prevented Dracula's return for what they had did. That episode was crazy because you had four things going on simultaneously watching all of these four things. You had what's his name? Hector getting it on with Eleanor. You had Alucard getting it on with those two Japanese kids.
Wow.
You had Isaac with the wizard in the tower, like going through his army of mindless slaves. And then you had the the battle going on with the monastery, and you were watching all of this
so it's
happen
like
simultaneously.
it was everywhere.
Everybody climaxed at the same time.
And all right, so yeah, like
and there was a
bringing
lot
up
of anime
Sumi and
titties.
bringing up Sumi and Taka right there. They basically like they basically showed up at Alucard's castle, one day, basically like trying to find like trying to find a way to like to
Kill
fight
vampires.
kill vampires and things like that. Because they gave him the story of like they used to be like Chai's like slave, where she would force them to watch watch her kill other people in the way they did. So in a way, they kind of like they kind of learned at first how to kill vampires from watching her moves.
When she was fighting these soldiers that she would capture, she wouldn't even let them commit the suicide, which is what warriors did.
Yes,
if they lost, something like that. But she would stop them from doing that and feed from them, so they couldn't even die with honor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like as she was like like killing them and all right there. So they were basically like watching her basically watching every moves until one day they ever got the chance to that they would be able to fight her. But unfortunately, she got summoned to Dracula's castle, and that's how they made the escape. And
because what they did was they killed all her guards off that were guarding the people, freed the people, and it basically did the whole "be free, run" after they killed all the guards, and they wanted to learn to kill vampires so that the void that she left being dead wouldn't be filled by another vampire. Yeah.
So that's when they saw that Alucard right there, which he agreed to like teach them and things like that. But he was basically doing that at a slower level because he's by himself. He's bored as fuck. He enjoyed the company. So it was like so he was teaching them, but he was just like be patient and all things will come. But of course, them being them, they thinking that he's bullshitting around with them like everybody else, like because they've grown like this this trust issue. So they think Dracula. They think Alucard is like bullshitting them. So one night, they basically try
to be fair, he did if he was bullshitting them, he wouldn't have given them free access to the vault.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, all right, you've got all of Dracula's knowledge right there in the castle. All of the Belmont knowledge is right beneath your feet. And all of my knowledge is here. Mm-hmm. I am going to give you unfiltered access to the Belmont vault. Go nuts. If he wasn't trying to help them, he wouldn't have given them that. Mm-hmm. But they were like, no, you have to move the castle. So why?
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, pardon that. I feel like the entire conclusion of the Zumi Taka arc didn't make sense. Like if you listen to the words that they say when they weren't around, like when they were talking about Alucard but not actually talking to him, at no point were they ever speaking of him maliciously. In fact, Zumi was actually speaking quite empathetically towards him, understanding his plight, understanding his situation. So for them to be like, oh, by the way, we're going to kill you now after this threesome, which I mean, also kind of unprompted, but by the way, it didn't. I knew, but
it was the whole sex thing. It was a way of getting his guard down so they could kill him.
I mean, he kind of wasn't really resisting during the whole sex thing. Like, he wasn't exactly starfishing, but he wasn't exactly participating. He was sort of just laying there and letting it happen. Like, he was, he didn't seem to be enjoying it all that much, I don't think. Anyway, but at the same point, the build-up, like, I knew they were going to betray him just because I knew what series it was. I didn't, from what I saw, I didn't believe there was
and chaos is here
for them to.
Yeah, she sent me a message on Discord asking me what I was doing, so I told her I was over here with you guys.
All right. I said she showed up basically at the same time, but that we got yeeted the last time because it was around this part that we started.
No more
we
angry
was talking
game
about
mode
this.
articles.
So, well, we're not going to show the article, but we are going to get it. We are going to get into that because we are getting to the point that that this scene right here basically create a bunch of controversial buzz on the internet because a lot of people got kind of upset that to find out that Alucard was bisexual and he engaged in bisexual sex.
To be fair, he had quite feminine mannerisms about him.
Well, that's a bunch of the male vampires in the whole vampire
thing.
Yeah.
But also his sexuality was never brought up.
I know. And
there was never it's not like he was a womanizer that was suddenly made gay. That wasn't a thing. So
you said you forgot the reminder.
She didn't set the reminder on. It's all. I tweeted it.
I think that's really kind of my fault because
clearly she doesn't follow my Twitter. I tweeted it
because I did have this set up for 3:30 at first because I thought Bloodwing was going to stream, but then he didn't, so I kind of moved it up. Like an hour and a half. So that's kind of on my part right there. It was supposed to start at 3:30, but then I started at 2 because of that. But I did tweet it out.
Yeah, and I retweeted it. She can't say I didn't remind her because I retweeted it.
So
I maintain I don't really think Alucard's bisexual. He was laying there. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't being he didn't even seem to enjoy it all that much, to be honest. I think it was more of a character building of his state that he's so lonely that he will just let people do stuff to him. That's sort of how I interpret it. I mean, up to trying to kill him. That's when he draws the sword. But I didn't.
Well, there were even tears. He even cried a bit, and I think it was more because someone was showing him affection than the fact that he didn't want it. That's what it came off as.
Yeah, that's a very good assessment. Probably better said than mine. I'm done.
So
she's saying how I don't check. I'm at work. I don't check my Twitter at work. You spend pretty much all fucking day at work on Discord. Don't give me that shit.
Can you two ladies just settle it out in the Jello arena?
There will be a time. It's okay, all right, get back to the.
She is gonna beat my ass for that, and I know it.
All right, all right, get back on the thing right here. That was one of the things right there. That of course one gang was leading the whole entire charge of that whole entire thing. And so when I watched the whole entire scene, I'm just like, dude, are you serious? Because it got blown way out of goddamn proportion. They act like I'm saying basically Alucard was just basically standing there enjoying oh yeah, more tear that ass up and all that shit right there. I'm saying the dude is just motherfucking just banging the shit out of Alucard's ass, and they showing it all. If anything, it was a sex scene between Hector and Lenore that was more graphic than
than
that.
Oh yeah. You watched him take her panties off and do stuff to her, and there were nipples and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, and Hector was just tearing it up, boy. Shoot, I mean, you're seeing Hector's ass; he's all between the legs and stuff like that. You're seeing Lenore's titties, and like I said, taking off the panties and things like that. There
were suspenders and everything.
That was borderline. That was Ichi right there. that's when Castlevania just turned.
They were getting very close to the hentai line with that.
Yeah, as I'm saying, that's when they hit the Ichi zone.
You know what? They got right up to the line, but they didn't cross it.
Mm-hmm. They did everything with show penetration. That's all. That's basically what it was, and that was just basically to throw them off and try to get them to like swear like loyalty to them. And meanwhile, while she was doing that, she slipped a ring on him that basically binds to all of them now. So it's like he has to, he has to do whatever they say. Otherwise, like the ring will cause him such pain.
If he tries to go against what the vampire ladies are saying, then he will feel, in the words of Eleanor, he will feel like he's shitting out his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Never again.
What up? So
just a quick question, guys, show of hands. How many of you have had this happen? Like you're plowing a girl and then she slips a ring on and then bam, she owns you.
Well, shit, that's called marriage. So. A lot of people know what that feels. I don't, but it's like, it's like that's what it basically is. Like, damn, did Hector Lenore just get married? Well, he done married all four of them. Well, shit,
You have to give her credit though for a shotgun wedding. Like, she didn't really have a father there to hold the shotgun to him, so she did it pretty well on her own.
Well, she did. She let the cooch do all the talking. Hell, she did. That had to be some good goddamn to swear all that.
I think him swearing the allegiance to her, it was basically just the kind of things that you'd say during sex, sort of. It's like, you say you're mine and all that sort of thing. And as soon as he did that and the ring was on his finger, he was fucked.
Well, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, please stop talking.
As she said when like all four of them were sitting, it was like talking, and she was like, "Well, he was inside me at the time."
And if what I see right there, well, basically, like I'm saying, like Strigan, like the other one right there, you can tell that they're just straight up lesbians. They have no, they have no desire or no love for men whatsoever. Carmilla will put up with men to a certain point, but only if they're not human. Like her thing is like she can't stand humans, they can't stand men. Lenore is just like Lenore is
definitely all of them have the same. Tart. She is definitely the little tart of the group.
Yeah. Yeah, because all of them have like the same goal, to basically, to take over humanity, to like to kind of like farm them, to make sure like that vampires have like that,
they
have like
want
that
to roll
like
as
that.
A quartet, as she said.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know how the hell Hector is going to get out of that jam right there, because he pretty much belongs to them. Now I don't know if like
in saying that she did promise him in exchange for this, one of the buildings in the castle grounds will be converted into a nice comfy house with him, and it's going to have a nice big comfy bed because he's quite good at sex, and I might be able to teach him a thing or two.
So yeah, he's gonna get some good vampire cooch out of this. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it ain't all that bad, but
he's definitely gonna have a comfortable life doing this.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and going over his earlier arc with his unwilling to let go of his pets, which is what got him into forge masting in the first place, is he has become the pet. He has become the one that is so delicate and so unknowing about the world that he basically has to be bound and chained. By granted, like Lenore seems to have legitimate affection for him. Like, no, she doesn't say love him, but she definitely likes him to some extent.
Yeah, she loves him the way a normal person would love a pet.
Mm-hmm.
With fire,
and she even says that he is now her pet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what's going on to their part right there. Like, and Isaac, he defeats like the little crew that he was at. Cypher and Trevor. Like, after that happens right there, and especially after they like burn down to like the guys like building after they seen what all he had done and everything that he had collected. Now Trevor's like, okay, we did things your way. Now we're gonna do things my way, which I kind of wonder what that's going to be. That's going to be in store. And of course, Alucard. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, well, like I said, after they tried to, kill him for, from what they feel like he was just leading them on, wasn't trying to teach them things and stuff like this, where he was forced to, kill them with his sword by slicing
He
both their
then
damn
took
throats.
he then took a page out of his father's book and put them on a stake outside of his castle.
Yeah, kind of serving like as
Basically,
a
as
warning.
warning signs to tell people to fuck off.
Yeah, and that's why I said like, oh shit, man, Alucard is becoming his dad. So you kind of wonder like where that's going to lead to. So yeah, season 4 is looking very, very interesting. I'm really wondering what's going to happen right there. So it's like,
I think he's going to go right up to the brink of madness, and Cypher and Trevor are going to have to drag him back.
And I'm like, how? It's like, how are they going to do that? Because
dragging him by the nipples.
Well, you've got to remember, they are his friends. And the reason he went off it a little in this last episode is because he tried to show love and affection and friendship to these 2 new people, and they betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's like, I don't want anyone around. I think if them 2 turned up, because he knows them and he trusts them, They didn't abandon him. He decided he was going to stay there when they went off to finish wiping out all of the night creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So I think them coming back and pulling him back from the brink of madness will stop him from going crazy.
Yeah, so it's like you got to kind of wonder like what's going to happen right there. And of course, like, are they basically going to go like up in time and things like that? Because I'm kind of wondering, like, if this turns out into like a really, really, really long series, like, they get about a good let's say they get about a good 7 or 8 up in there. There's a good chance that we're going to see Simon. All right, anybody got anything on that?
He might turn up as someone that's going to try and deal with this new Dracula. And
don't bring in Soma.
Yeah, so and then Cypher and Trevor will probably turn up and stop him from killing Alucard and bring him back from the brink of madness, and then I don't know where it'll go from there.
Yeah, cause somewhere down here, like I'm saying, Dracula's curse really comes into effect, and and that's what it really does. It passes down from Trevor to Simon, and that's when it's up to Simon to to search out Dracula in the way that he did, especially in Castlevania 2, where he had to collect Dracula's remain, bring him back and stuff like that to completely destroy him in order to uplift the curse. So I'm kind of wondering how much of this series is basically gonna be them just making up stuff as they go, bringing in brand new characters and adding their little salve to it, and how much of this is going to be actual okay, we got to go back to the game timeline, and we got to input this right here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do right there. So season 4 is really gonna have to do a whole lot of things, how we're gonna how we're gonna best season 3, because they've been doing good so far, but how long can they keep it up?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting standoff between Isaac and Hector, especially because Hector is now bound and chained. And Isaac is just, as far as I can tell, with that new mirror he found, he's just going to pop on the doorstep and be like, "What up, bitches? We're fighting now. I hope you're ready."
Oh yeah, Isaac is definitely going to just walk through that mirror and just be like, "I'm here, and all you hoes are fucked."
And if anything, like I said, I think he'll probably end up fighting. He'll probably end up fighting Striga. If anything,
it really needs to be the musical episode, though.
You know what?
Every show has a musical episode.
No.
So that one.
No. Just no.
but I am very interested to see what's going to happen, especially on that side right there, on Trevor and Cypher side, if they ever find out how Alucard is basically slowly like piking motherfuckers and shit like that. And then like if Isaac that season, like what it's all gonna be like, what's he gonna be, who is he gonna be fighting first, like going through this whole entire and the thing with Hector right now, like how are these rings gonna like work together, like what's gonna be their advantage?
Well, they were made by a forge mage.
Like, is he gonna try to find a way to like to like break that break that bond, or which hell he can't really go nowhere to
he can now leave, but he is bound to them. So he is definitely going to have to go back. But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, if he's allowed to leave, that probably one of his things, like basically trying to go out there and trying to find out, how the fuck can I get this thing off me?
It would be interesting to see Alucard developing some of the more scientific side, like his like in the steps of his father and mother. And when I have this image in my head of Balnades and Belmont just showing up, and there's like 60 more people on pikes, but they've all been they're all animatronics, and they're all dancing and singing. It's like a loudspeaker being like, "Get out! Don't come in." I'm just being goofy right now. I clearly need more cocaine.
Chaos is asking who. I'm trying to see what she's talking about. They said right here, like, if it's Tally, I veto that and say yes.
To Chaos, I made a joke about them having a musical episode. That's why we were talking about singing.
I will not sing on stream.
Well, you sung that Kenny Rogers that song. as respect.
To be fair, The Gambler's a great song.
Oh man, yeah, it is. I'm saying a great song and a great, and a great movie. And, well, it was more than one gambler out there, so shit.
But the song "The Gambler" is a great song.
Oh hell yeah! I said, amongst with like a lot of his other hits and things like that. That's like his like number one, at least in my book, right there.
I really liked the one he did with Dolly Parton.
Him and Dolly Parton, they made some really good songs together, man. That's when Dolly Parton was at her hottest too, man. Like, because she had those, she had those tallies right there. Damn, we didn't get all off. Well, we didn't really came to the end right now. Now
you say that, but unlike Dolly Parton's, mine ain't plastic.
Well, true that, she was all silicone, but they still looked good on her. Shit. Maybe it was just what she was wearing, because she used to wear a lot of corsets and shit back then. So.
Yeah, corsets are great.
I don't know. Do she still got them, or did she get them? Did she get them out?
Oh, she's still got them. I've actually seen recent videos of her and all that sort of thing. She's still got them.
Oh, she just saying she just holding on to in a certain way.
I'm pretty sure there's an app that gives you the up-to-date status of breast implants.
Because I think let's see who I think people like Pam Anderson, like she got rid of hers. So
you know what, my sister-in-law got some breast implants. And my response when she was like, "Feel them, they feel so real," was, "Yeah, they do." My brothers are like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I'm there, one hand squeezing her boob and the other one squeezing mine, comparing them.
I've never seen or felt like a breast enhancement. So I don't know what the hell is going down. I know what they look. You can tell, like the difference between a whole lot of them.
Well, it depends on which ones you go, because you can get the different shaped ones. Like there are the teardrop shaped silicone implants that look more realistic, but then there's the round ones, which you can really tell they're fake.
And some of them are implants, and some of them where they can just like inject the stuff into them to make I don't know how this shit goes.
I don't know, but I know it cost my brother 10 grand to get his wife implants.
God damn, what did she get?
She went
What
from
size did she get?
She went from a B to a double D.
Oh, so shit. Yeah, anything double D on up is gonna cost some dollars. So
Yeah.
and if it ain't
But
just
also,
like I'm saying, if it ain't this,
also
if it ain't
they
just like
they paid to get it done privately. They didn't get it done on the NHS.
NHS offers that?
Well, her sister got them on the NHS by going to the doctors and being like, if I don't get breast implants, I'm just gonna cut off what I've got. So they gave her breast implants as a mental health thing.
So she did the mental health shit.
Yeah. Whereas my sister-in-law, she just paid for hers.
Mm-hmm. God. Thank God I don't need that.
I mean,
I am
my
so
mind
happy
is still...
I don't have to deal with this shit.
My mind was blown when I found out that butt implants were a real thing, because I thought it was one of those things that people made up as a joke because it involves butts, and then it turns out it was a real thing. And then when my will to live ended, and then it was a dark time, midnight, I think.
I know people who probably watch this later on, like, damn, how did y'all go from Castlevania to breast implants?
I think the real question is, why didn't we start off with breast implants?
Oh dear.
Like I said, we're just trying to waste some time till we get like up to a certain point. But it's like, but yeah, it's like but like I said, with the whole Castlevania thing, I'm looking forward to season 4. Like it's probably gonna come out like next year at some point.
Probably towards the end would be my guess. One of the things I really like is the animation style. And I don't know why I thought this, because I got under the impression that most new animation coming out of the West was just garbage. Like, I mean, the shows could still be good, but it's just in terms of the quality of the drawing, it's they haven't gotten better.
So long as they don't do that Cal art shit.
Sorry?
So long as they don't do that Cal art shit.
Sorry, not familiar with that one.
The Cal art, you see the stuff like Thundercats Roar and all that.
Oh,
and the Steven Universe.
See the part that clip where it's like, I'm the original Lionel, and you guys are a great thing.
Why is it suddenly a thing to make cartoons as ugly as humanly possible?
Because, go ahead.
I think what's end up happening is that, the person who pitches the idea finds all of their talent off of their bitch friends on DeviantArt, who are okay artists, but they're not that great. And they all want to... They probably would have the skill and talent if they put in the effort. It seems like they're more interested in changing everything to fit an ideology than they are in actually creating a good art style.
Yeah, that, and most of them are just basically like these ugly ass people themselves who get highly jealous of anime, anime characters.
Why did they make She-Ra go from a beautiful, mature woman to a little boy?
So many people have. Go ahead.
I think it's because, if I'm not mistaken, the lead artist, she's a lesbian, and she's trying to appeal to the ultimate lesbian fantasy, which is angry-looking 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, she's a boyish lesbian. So it's like so a lot of people say, the original, not the original, but like the people who made this right here, that they try to put like a little bit of themselves into it. And of course, that's exactly what it is. She looks like a 12-year-old boy, so she basically tries to make She-Ra into the whole entire thing, which I've gotten into a whole lot of fights on Twitter because of that whole entire, because I grew up on the original. And of course, like I said, the original
She-Ra looks so good.
I know that, and you know that, but I would
so cosplay as the original She-Ra,
and I would so watch that.
But yeah, it's like but of course, like I'm saying, these progressives and things like that, like they just And it wasn't just that they made Shira look like a 12-year-old boy, but then they step here and they do all these other things. Like for instance, they race swap Bo, they make glitter, like I'm saying, this little fat girl.
Yeah, how was the wind supposed to carry that?
Mitch the Reaper has a good point. That's because they have interest in sexualizing minors.
Oh goddamn!
What's so sexy about a minor? Like they get cold.
No, we don't find them attractive, but they're trying to do everything humanly possible to sexualize children, which is why they're pushing children into the whole transgender and like drag.
Yeah, that's quite terrifying. I actually, if I ever have find out about my children, I'm definitely making sure they're homeschooled.
See, the fact that my son at the age of 2 would play with my makeup, little shit, ruined half of it.
Well, it's probably because he saw you doing it.
Well, yeah, he would have seen me doing it every day before I left the house, and then he wanted to try. So he had liquid eyeliner all up around his forehead and lipstick all up around here and around his chin.
Oh, Tally, you're in trouble.
Wait, what?
I said, you're in trouble.
He sent me a message asking me what I was doing. So I sent him the link. You know I don't remember shit.
But yeah, that I'm saying that's like that is like one of the points right there. It's like I just don't like it. And me, I'm at the point where like if I don't like it, I don't support it, especially not financially. And I just that's the only way we're gonna really get rid of a lot of this stuff right here. If we don't,
my son watched me do my makeup, so he tried doing his using my makeup to do his makeup.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
And then, but if that happened today and I said something about it, people would be like, "Oh yeah, he's trans." And I was like, "No."
That's because those people are idiots who just like I said, just trying to push an ideology. But but the whole entire thing with the anime and the stuff right there with where they're pushing this bullshit right here with my thing is the people who they're pushing towards, like they'll like yada yada whoop whoop and everything this right there wise, but financial wise and things like that, they're not going to support it whatsoever. And that's what's really going to kill them, because the original audience that they're basically pushing out.
That's what's killing the comic book industry. The fact that these people are like, yeah, it's so stunning and brave, but they're not supporting these.
Oh, where'd she go?
Apparently my connection is unstable.
Yeah, that's what kind of clicked out right there.
So I can deal with my feelings.
But that's what it is. They're supporting it in the ways, except for the way that it mattered most, wallet wise, and that's the reason why a lot of this stuff goes down.
But the new warriors from Marvel with Snowflake and Space. Oh no!
I thought it was a joke, and then it turns out that life wasn't worth living.
So you know what? I thought it was a joke as well, and I've their powers are pretty cool. Like one of them can make stuff like
snowflake
shaped shurikens.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That does. I agree.
And the other ones, the ability to make like a void that is like completely protected.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool.
Only for other people. So if you ever want to kill him, you just wait until he's in the shower.
Yeah, I know. But that is pretty cool.
So to add my 2 cents on the whole transsexuality, social justice warrior thing, is my interpretation of this. And remember when we were talking about the negative influence on some aspects of the church and the power crazy nut jobs in there. So in my opinion, it's a very similar thing with the whole trans community and minor attracted pedophiles. They are power hungry, and they are latching onto institutions that have influence.
Well, this has been a thing since the 70s. Here in the UK, there's a group called PI, and they are the Paedophile Information Exchange, and that was a thing back in the 70s. these people managed to get all the way up to the Houses of Commons in order to try and push through legislation to completely do away with the age of consent here in the UK. And the only reason it got thrown out is because there was public uproar. No, the public as a whole were like, no, fuck you. You're staying the fuck away from our children. And if the government pushed this through, we are going to riot in the streets. So the government was like, no, we can't do this shit. But that was a big thing up in the 70s here in the UK. They have been doing this shit for years.
All right, like on this part right here, like Mr. Ripper had like brought up some right here talking about on the side note, the reason they're established, they use established properties is because their original works would not be popular and therefore harder to push their agenda, which I agree right there. The reason why they jump on like all this well-established stuff right here, because if they started from the get-go, like how these things basically did, then it would take a very, very long time for it to get popular, like how these comic books that they're basically taking over right now. See, they want instant success, where it took like these people like years and decades in order to like
instant gratification.
To the popularity is like, just like how long did it take things like Batman and Superman and like the whole DC Marvel like universe right now to get where it is?
Batman started off as a detective or as detective like something. I can't remember what the name of the Batman comics were before it became Batman, but Superman Superman started off as Action Comics.
Yeah.
And Batman, I think it was Detective Adventures or something. And that was during the 30s or 40s, maybe the 50s. And so they have been long-standing characters, and they didn't really get really big until after the Second World War. Like, it was like the 50s when they became really popular.
Yeah, and that's what these Rugrats fail to realize. That I'm saying, like they may have something that might be decent, but it's going to take quite a while before it gets like well established out there to where people
what they need to do is they need to make an original character, write an original story, have it based around the character, like have a well-rounded, good character. Don't make it a Mary Sue, because people don't like that shit.
Yeah, that's what they fail to realize.
Don't make it a fanfic come to life.
They can't force people to like that stuff right there, which is another one of their biggest problem right there, man. They're trying to force this nonsense on the people when failing to realize that people don't like being forced to do something they don't want to do. It's always going to be met with resentment.
Quite frankly,
the reason people like these original superheroes is because although they have good values and they have struggles, and like a lot of people really liked the thought that like the Black Widow, when it was discovered in one of the Marvel movies that she was sterilized to make her a better assassin, so she wouldn't have to worry about getting like pregnant or having a family and all that sort of thing. It made her a better assassin, but she feels like less of a woman because of that. That is her showing weakness, and like it's, I guess you could say it's a flaw. Now, me, I like that because it shows that she's human. Whereas these people are like, no, she can't. She shouldn't think like that.
It's similarly like for you to be able to relate to somebody, they have to experience things. Like not many people go through life just like punching every door open and having nothing getting in their way and no emotional trauma or anything like that. And I agree that I did like that with Black Widow. And I was one of the only people in my very, very small group of friends, because it's just me, who liked Iron Man 2, particularly the parts where Tony Stark was having post-traumatic stress from the fact that he fucking died for a little bit.
Well, he almost died.
I guess nobody actually took his pulse or anything like that. But still freaking terrifying. I love the fact that he was actually experiencing something And something that I can necessarily relate to. I mean, fear of dying every second of the day, but I mean, it didn't really go anywhere in the end, but it at least made him more human than haha, I am invincible. I'm going to kick this cat into that exploding reactor or something.
But not only that, he put his life on the line to save not only like the world, but he did it mostly because of his friends.
Yep.
And these people that he deeply cared for. And he then developed PTSD from it, and it did make him more relatable as a character. And I do like when they show weakness in these characters. It does make them more relatable.
And it gives them a chance to overcome it.
Yes. Like Thor, he got fat and was depressed at the end of like one of the movies, and he had to overcome that and really come back into being Thor.
Yeah, it was really actually really quite interesting watching him challenge a small flight of stairs.
I see. Yeah, that's really well. Unfortunately, like I'm saying, we reached that 2-hour mark right there that I was really trying to get a hold of too. So it's like, damn, we started really getting into it like this whole entire thing. We'll have to say that for like another stream if we ever get back together again, and just have like one of these regular streams where we basically talk about stuff like this, like how the SJW like narrative is basically seeping into a whole lot of stuff and basically ruining a whole lot of things. So
something I do find interesting is that none of these SJWs had an issue when Tony Stark had PTSD and it showed him overcoming that. No one had an issue about Thor like losing his mind and becoming depressed and overeating and stopping exercising and becoming fat. No one had an issue with that. They had an issue with
fat shaming.
No, they had an issue with the fact that he then lost the weight and became Thor again. And he went back to what he was and he overcame it. They had an issue with the fact that he became healthy again. And he stopped being a fat, lazy slob.
And I don't know what their problem is with healthy people, but like I said, that's another story right there. But yeah, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it on that part right there. It's like I'm saying, like to everybody in the chat, like thank you for coming out and like enjoying this in this like this episode of like Castlevania and Chill and a few politics as you see I added right here. And it's like all right, Pleiades, like I tell you, y'all got anything y'all want to show?
Come see me and Chaos Eve on Saturday night. On S&M, and I don't know if I can share the link in.
I don't think I have you as a moderator yet, but it's like damn.
As for me, I took down my YouTube channel in response to one of their adpocalypses and me just being like, I don't want to be a part of that. I will eventually, and I lost half of my videos, so I have to redo them. So I'm a lazy piece of snow. So one of these days I'll actually start recording crap again, but then you'll have to see my face, and that's probably the worst part.
Come on, man. Like I said, I'm meant to get over it.
There you go. I've shared the link in your chat, so everyone can come join us on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, like Chaos and oh yeah, I think y'all are moderators in my in my thing right there. So like,
how much hand lotion will I need for this?
Oh,
it depends on where the conversation goes, because we have covered nothing is off limits when it comes to the conversation.
And I was on
the affair begin, the French Connection.
And I was on there last week, and I had like all my old up and things like that, and Chaos and Tally in their sexy bikinis. So it was like,
yeah, we had a little. I guess you could say we had a beach party.
Especially like say, and Tally was right there in the middle of both of us, so she couldn't get anywhere. And we did everything we could to just make her blush, and it didn't take.
I was trying to say something, and then he'd start making his pecs bounce, and I'd be like, "Wait, what was I saying?" And then Eve would be doing something on the other side while I was trying to say something, and it would be exactly the same. It's like.
We had her distracted.
Yeah, no, looking at
Yeah, and then I
it's,
distracted both of y'all at once.
Yeah, like I said, so
Yeah,
we all
DMC
we
I'm
always
actually at work, so I can't.
we always even up in the like I said, I'm off on the weekend, so I'll be able to make it. But it's like yeah, with that right there, like be sure to check out, like Chaos and Tally with Say No More is on that channel right there, 3 p.m. Central Time. And also, you can check out Pleiades on Twitter as well as like I was saying, because I know Pleiades from we used to like talk like on the B list for Red Robot, which I kind of wonder what he's been doing a lot lately.
Bitches.
And of course, I am your boy Pat. You can check me out like at my Yo Boy Pat channel, which like I'm saying I'm hardly on, which I'm surprised. I actually uploaded a video on there yesterday. That's quite a watch right there with stuff that I did right there. And I was surprised that people came back so damn quickly, like, oh man, you uploaded something. And you can also check out my
you
channel.
Uploaded something?
Yeah, like on
you
my
haven't uploaded something in like 4 months.
Yeah, I know, and it's like I uploaded that video yesterday, and people came real quick, and it's a real funny story too. Like,
well, I am gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, of course, there's my Psycho Rick channel a lot where I basically do like a lot of rest in peace memorials. I do a lot of true crime and like try to do creepypastas on that. Like and of course, this is my live stream channel right here, Your Boy Live. So it's like check those out any chance that you can get. And also, like I said, like thank Talia Pleiades for joining me again. We had Kefki, but she had left on some short notice, So it was fun having her up in here, the little chance that we get. But until we see each other again, man, like thank y'all for hanging out with us.
I love that psycho little weasel. She's great.
All right, thank y'all for joining us once again. This is us basically saying, good morning, good evening, and good night.
Bye.
Kiss.